November 14, 1960, New Orleans, Louisiana. The morning air was thick with tension, but 6-year-old Ruby Bridges clutched her lunchbox and walked forward. She had no way of knowing that her small steps would shake the foundation of America's education system and challenge the conscience of a nation. But what if we told Ruby's story not just as a tale of a brave little girl, but as a lesson in resilience for all of us today? What if we saw her not just as a historical figure, but as a symbol of what one person, no matter how small, can do when they refuse to be afraid? Imagine being 6 years old. You love playing with your dolls, laughing with your siblings, and dreaming about the future. Now imagine walking into a school where no one wants you. Angry faces spit words you don't understand. People are screaming at you, grown men and women telling you to go home, to leave. Would you turn around? Would you cry? Would you let their hatred break you? Ruby Bridges did not. She walked. She walked past the mobs, past the threats, past the hate that had been building in this country for centuries. She walked because her parents, Lucille and Abon Bridges, believed she deserved a good education. She walked because brave civil rights leaders fought for her right to be there. But more than anything, she walked because she had faith. Her mother had told her, "Be strong, say your prayers, God is with you." And Ruby believed it. Inside William Frantz Elementary School, the halls were empty. White parents had pulled their children out in protest. Ruby was alone in her classroom, learning one-on-one with her teacher, Mrs. Barbara Henry. But she was never truly alone. The world was watching. Norman Rockwell painted her image. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke of her courage. President Eisenhower had sent federal marshals to protect her. And yet, despite all this attention, Ruby Bridges remained just a child who wanted to learn. Her teacher later recalled how Ruby never showed anger or fear. She smiled. She studied. She kept moving forward. One day, a federal marshal noticed Ruby talking as she walked through the mob. He later asked her what she had said. "I wasn't talking to them," Ruby replied. "I was praying for them." She had asked God to forgive the people who hated her. The 6-year-old child had more grace and strength than the adults screaming in her face. Ruby's story is not just Black history, it is American history. It is a lesson in courage, faith, and the power of one voice to make a difference. She reminds us that change often starts with one person willing to stand up or walk forward despite the odds. Her story challenges us to ask, what injustices do we see today that need our courage? How can we face adversity with the same grace and strength? What can we do to make sure no child, no person, is ever denied their rightful place in this world? Ruby Bridges was not just a little girl walking into a school. She was carrying the hopes of generations before her and opening doors for generations after her. And she still inspires us today. This Black History Month, let's not just remember Ruby Bridges. Let's be like Ruby Bridges. Let's walk forward, no matter what stands in our way. Because courage, true courage, is knowing the obstacles ahead and moving forward anyway.